We live in a world that constantly encourages ambition, self-belief, and personal achievement. These are good qualities, essential for progress. But where is the line? When does healthy confidence transform into something corrosive, something dangerous, both for the individual and for society? Today, we confront one of the most destructive human traits: pride. What exactly is pride, and why is it so universally condemned across spiritual traditions? To answer this, we must go beyond the secular definition of egotism and explore the Quranic concept of kibr, a term often translated as arrogance, haughtiness, or disdain. Our title for this deep dive is What is Pride? The Quranic Anatomy of Arrogance, Humility, and Self-Worth. Understanding the nature of kibr is foundational to spiritual success because the Quran frames it not just as a sin, but as the root of all spiritual failures. It is the antithesis of the very first command to humanity: submission to God. The core message of the Quran is that true self-worth is found not in self-aggrandizement, but in acknowledging our correct place in the cosmic order. Let's begin at the very beginning of creation, with the narrative that defines the origin of arrogance, the story of Iblis. When God commanded the angels to prostrate to the prophet Adam, peace be upon him, as a sign of respect for human potential, Iblis refused. His rejection was based on a flawed, arrogant logic of superior origin, a perfect definition of pride. God said, "What prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you?" Iblis said, "I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay." Surah Al-A'raf, chapter 7, verse 12. Iblis's response demonstrates the three lethal components of kibr: comparison, false assumption of superiority, and rejection of a divine command based on personal feeling. This historical spiritual event establishes pride as the first and most fundamental act of rebellion against the divine will. From this narrative, we learn that pride is not merely thinking highly of oneself, but looking down upon others and rejecting truth when it conflicts with one's ego. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, beautifully summarized this dual nature of arrogance. He defined pride as rejecting the truth and looking down upon people. This is a concise and actionable psychological definition. The rejection of truth, or cognitive bias, is often observed in modern scientific studies of arrogance. Proud individuals filter information to confirm their existing superiority complex. They are fundamentally unteachable, believing their own judgment is the final, supreme authority in all matters. The second part, looking down upon people, is a social manifestation of kibr. It translates into contempt, mockery, and a refusal to acknowledge the equal human dignity of others. Why is pride so dangerous? Because it blinds the individual to their own flaws and, crucially, to the signs of God. The Quran states clearly that the arrogant heart cannot receive guidance. "I will turn away from my signs those who are arrogant upon the earth without right, and if they should see every sign, they will not believe in it." Surah Al-A'raf, chapter 7, verse 146. This is a profound spiritual law. Arrogance creates a cognitive filter that actively rejects evidence, no matter how overwhelming. This explains why throughout history, the tyrants and oppressors, like Pharaoh in the story of the prophet Moses, peace be upon him, were not merely cruel, but fundamentally proud. Pharaoh's arrogance stemmed from the delusion of self-sufficiency. He believed he was the ultimate source of power and provision. The Quran chronicles his boast, "And Pharaoh proclaimed among his people, saying, 'O my people, does not the kingdom of Egypt belong to me, and these rivers flowing beneath me? Then will you not see?'" Surah Az-Zukhruf, chapter 43, verse 51. This narrative teaches us that pride is often rooted in material wealth, temporary power, and a belief that one is somehow exempt from universal laws. Pride manifests in several destructive ways. affecting not only the individual's soul but the entire social fabric. One manifestation is in knowledge. An arrogant scholar or student rejects new information that might challenge their established theories. Another is in worship. A proud worshiper performs rituals for the recognition of others, riya, rather than for the sincere sake of God. A third is in communication. An arrogant person refuses to apologize, cannot admit a mistake, and dominates conversations, viewing dialogue as a stage for self-display. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, warned against the subtle infiltration of pride, noting that it can manifest even in trivial matters, like caring too much about the appearance of one's clothes. He clarified that beautiful clothing is not pride, but rejecting truth and despising others is. This distinction is vital. Islam does not condemn beauty or self-care. It condemns the internal state of contempt for others that often accompanies excessive self-regard. Globally, modern psychology refers to pathological pride as narcissism, a personality disorder characterized by an excessive need for admiration, a sense of entitlement, and a lack of empathy. This secular diagnosis perfectly aligns with the Quranic concept of kibr, highlighting its inherent alienation from fellow human beings. An arrogant person lives in a self-constructed bubble, where their perspective is the only reality, making genuine connection and cooperation impossible. In the context of business or politics, pride manifests as the inability to accept counsel or criticism, leading to catastrophic decision-making. History is replete with examples of empires falling because their leaders were too arrogant to listen to warnings or recognize their limitations. The antidote to this spiritual poison is tawadu, or humility. Humility, in the Quranic framework, is not self-abasement. It is the accurate assessment of one's dependence on the Creator. True humility is strength channeled into service, gratitude, and acceptance of the truth, regardless of its source. It is the realization that every skill, every resource, and every breath we take is a temporary gift from God. The Quran provides a beautiful and compelling definition for the attitude expected of a believer. And the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk upon the earth easily, and when the ignorant address them, they say words of peace. Surah Al-Furqan, chapter 25, verse 63. Walking upon the earth easily implies a grounded, gentle presence, not arrogance, not aggression, but serene self-possession. This is the positive, active form of humility, a calm confidence that doesn't need to prove itself to anyone. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him himself, was the living embodiment of tawadu. Despite holding the highest spiritual and temporal authority, he would mend his own clothes, sit on the floor, and never refuse to eat with the poor or listen to the concerns of the meek. His life demonstrates that genuine power is only dignified when it is clothed in humility and service. The Quran challenges the very basis of human pride by reminding us of our fragile origin and our ultimate destiny. We came from dust, and to dust we return. Our complexity, our intellect, and our fleeting power are all temporary deviations from that base state. O man, what has deceived you concerning your Lord, the Generous, who created you, proportioned you, and balanced you? In whatever form He willed, He assembled you. Surah Al-Infitar, chapter 82, verse 6 through 8. This profound question, what has deceived you, strikes at the heart of arrogance, pointing out the irrationality of feeling pride in something we did not originate. The opposite of pride is not weakness, but shukr, or gratitude. When a person is truly grateful, they acknowledge the source of their blessings, leaving no room for the self-centered delusion of being the sole agent of success. Gratitude is the spiritual lubricant that keeps the heart soft and the ego in check. In the context of knowledge, a humble person is always a learner, realizing that their knowledge, no matter how vast, is only a tiny drop in the ocean of God's infinite wisdom. The story of the prophet Moses, peace be upon him, seeking knowledge from Khidr, A figure of hidden wisdom reinforces this. Even the mighty prophet Moses, peace be upon him, was commanded to follow and learn with patience, demonstrating that humility is necessary even for the greatest of prophets. This teaches every seeker of knowledge that arrogance is the ultimate block to learning and spiritual advancement. The Quran provides the ultimate reason why no human should ever display the attribute of absolute pride, because true, absolute pride, al-Mutakabir, belongs only to God. Al-Mutakabir is one of the beautiful names of God, meaning the supremely great, the possessor of majesty, the one who is above all creation. He is God, besides whom there is no deity, the sovereign, the holy, the source of peace, the giver of security, the protector, the almighty, the compeller, the supremely great. Exalted is God above what they associate with him. Surah Al-Hashr, chapter 59, verse 23. To claim pride is, therefore, to usurp a divine quality, a form of spiritual arrogance that puts the created on the level of the Creator. This perspective is the ultimate ethical safeguard against megalomania and tyranny. The warning against pride extends even to our physical presence and gait, emphasizing that our internal state is reflected in our external behavior. Luqman's counsel to his son, recorded in the Quran, is a timeless guide for social humility. And do not turn your cheek toward people with contempt, and do not walk through the earth exultantly. Indeed, God does not like everyone self-deluded and boastful. Surah Luqman, chapter 31, verse 18. Do not walk through the earth exultantly is a powerful visual command for maintaining a grounded, non-arrogant physical presence. This wisdom is echoed by modern etiquette and social psychology. True leadership is quiet and empathetic, not loud and domineering. The humble leader inspires trust. The arrogant leader breeds resentment and fear. In contemporary neuroscience, researchers are studying the Dunning-Kruger effect, where people with low competence in a field overestimate their abilities significantly. This cognitive arrogance is the intellectual parallel to kibr, the rejection of one's true limitation. The Quranic solution is always to seek knowledge and to preface claims with humility, acknowledging the possibility of error. The pursuit of fame and worldly recognition is another slippery slope toward pride, as it focuses our energy outwards on validation rather than inwards on sincerity. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught his followers to seek good deeds that are hidden from the public eye, protecting the sincerity of the intention. This is the practical spiritual defense against the arrogance that comes from public adulation and self-promotion. The ultimate transformation of pride occurs when we realize that our highest achievements are simply tools for service to others. When a person uses their intelligence to help the needy, their wealth to support the poor, and their position to uphold justice, the blessing becomes a source of humility, not arrogance. The pain of life often acts as a cure for pride, shattering the illusion of self-control and reminding us of our reliance on a higher power. Illness, loss, and failure are painful, but they are crucial lessons in dependence and humility, the very things pride attempts to deny. Therefore, pride is not just a moral failing, it is a profound misunderstanding of reality. It is believing the shadow, the self, is the sun, the Creator. True self-worth, or izzah, comes not from comparison, but from our unbreakable commitment to justice, truth, and genuine humility. Our ultimate goal is to embody the positive self-respect of a believer, while discarding the destructive contempt of the arrogant. We hope this exploration has provided a clear, actionable definition of pride, rooted in divine and psychological insight. If you've gained a new perspective on how to check your own ego and cultivate genuine humility, we encourage you to reflect on these teachings. Our mission here at QURANxINSIGHT is to illuminate these pathways to spiritual clarity and self-improvement. If this video resonated with you and offered valuable insight into the human condition, Please support our channel and help this message of balanced self-worth reach a global audience. Take a moment to like this video. Your engagement helps ensure this content appears in front of others searching for spiritual guidance. Share this script with friends, colleagues, or anyone navigating leadership roles who might benefit from the wisdom of Tawadu. And, most importantly, please subscribe to the QURANxINSIGHT channel and ring that notification bell. Your subscription ensures you don't miss our next deep dive into the fascinating concepts revealed in the Quran. May we all be granted the clarity to recognize and overcome the subtle pitfalls of pride. May peace and guidance be upon you all.